Here's an example of a challenging beliefs worksheet. Let's say that you were in the military and you lost your company when you went through an ambush, and many people lost their lives. You think you should have been able to prevent it. You feel guilty and responsible. So let's go ahead and fill out the challenging beliefs worksheet. What is the situation? How about, I led my company into an ambush, and many of the men were killed. Now, what is your thought or stuck point? You may be thinking something like, I should have prevented it. It is my fault that people were killed. And how much do you believe that stuck point? I'm going to say 100%. Next, what kind of emotions go along with this stuck point? Maybe guilt, helplessness, and anger? How strongly do you feel each emotion? Maybe guilt 100%, helpless 100%, and anger 75%? Next, we will go through the challenging questions that you are most likely very familiar with. Think about how each question relates to your stuck point and the situation you described. It's okay if not everything applies. For this example, we will answer 3 of these questions, but make sure to answer as many as you can when you complete your own. What is the evidence for? You might say that some evidence might be that there was an ambush. However, that's not really evidence for it being your fault. Maybe there actually isn't any evidence for it, so we write no evidence. What about against? What evidence goes against your stuck point? Maybe I didn't see anything suspicious, and there was no way to know that there was going to be an ambush. That's why it's an ambush. Next, is your stuck point in all or none terms? Yes, because you might say, it's all my fault. I'm forgetting about the role that the enemy played. Okay, let's pretend you filled out the rest of the challenging thoughts column, at least all that applied. Going on to the problematic patterns, which you may remember from your most recent work. We will answer 2 of them in this example, but if you can try to think about each and every question and see if they relate to your stuck point. So are you ignoring important parts of the situation when you say your stuck point? You could say something like, I haven't been paying attention to the fact that it was an ambush. There was no way I could have known. Next, are you emotionally reasoning? Maybe you think your stuck point because I feel guilty, so I think I'm guilty. Okay, on to the newest addition, the alternative thought or thoughts. This section asks you to think of a new way to interpret the event you described in column A, and then rate how much you believe the thoughts. Maybe you could say something like, there was no way to see it coming at the time, and you might believe this 85%. Maybe another thought could be, I did what I was trained to do, and it was the best I could given the circumstances, and you believe this 90%. Lastly, you might say something like, it's not really my fault that people were killed in the ambush, and you believe this 75%. So going back to your original stuck point, how much do you believe it now? Maybe after thinking about it, you only believe it 20%. And what about those emotions? How strongly do you feel them now? Maybe guilt 40%, helplessness 80%, and anger 40%? Over time, as you work through the process, you'll see some progress in terms of your beliefs and your emotions shifting. Now that we've gone over an example, feel free to try one on your own.